Do you see a scenario where they would come back next year? And specifically, because there was something out yesterday that.
Listen, I don't even worry 2 seconds about all that stuff. I hope that they have the option. I hope that they play so great that everybody, the Dallas Cowboys are lined up to take them in the top 10. That'd be just great because that means they're playing really good football. I just don't worry about that stuff. I mean, Sammy Watkins to me is a top 10 pick. So I'd be surprised if he came back, but who knows? I mean, I didn't think Spiller was coming back. I don't get into all that right now. We can't worry about that. Our objective is to beat Virginia, period. When the season's over, you sit down, you figure those things out, and who's staying, who's leaving, and who we're recruiting, and let's get ready for the next year. But as far as sitting here in late October worrying about if somebody's going to turn pro or not, that's the last thing on my mind.
Speaking of Virginia, can you talk about defensively? They seem to turn the football. They force a lot of turnovers. Are they doing what he did at Georgia Tech, the same kind of stuff?
Well, I think that the youth is probably a factor for them. Some of it, not quite as much pressure as they were at Georgia Tech, and I think it's just a combination of it's their first year there, number one, and then just their personnel. Like I said, they got 13, 14 freshmen, sophomores, and so I think they've done a good job with this first year and trying to just get things incorporated. Let me just tell you, again, I know they've had a tough year, but Mike London and his staff, man, he's a great football coach, and they got a great staff. And I know everybody's got to win right now. You got about 2 or 3 years to do this thing, then it's next guy's in there. But I'm telling you, Mike London will get it done at Virginia. I don't have any doubts about that. And they've got the people there. They're just very young, and I think they are still going through that maturation process as a program. But defensively, they've got good people, really good people. They've had some injuries, which has hurt them. But they're just going to continue to get better. Secondary has made a lot of plays. I said safety number 8, leading the league in interceptions. They're getting pressure on the quarterback because they got some cats that can come off the edge. Number 7 is, where do you see number 7? He can run, big, long, lanky guy that's just a sophomore. Still has to some maturing to do physically, but puts a lot of pressure on the quarterback.
Coach, you talked about Jordan Leggett and sort of like his demeanor in practice, he's practice harder. I'm just curious, what have you done in the past with players like that, and how do you get them to maybe refocus and put that energy and effort that you want to see? We
coach them hard, and if they don't respond, they don't play. It's just really that simple. The greatest motivator we got is that sideline. Guys, we have a standard of practice here, and if guys don't buy into that, they don't play. It doesn't matter how talented they are. Our best players are our hardest workers. Grady Jarrett, come watch him practice. Vic, Corey, Sammy Watkins, Taj Boyd, Hot Rod, come watch them guys practice. Brandon Thomas, Shatley, Shuey, Stefan. Them boys practice the right way. There's a standard. We don't change that for anybody. Guys have to practice the right way if you're going to play.
A week ago, you talked a lot about getting back to the basics, getting back to the attention to detail, and that kind of thing. Obviously, some of that stuff, did enough of it stick for you, or are you still working? Is that still work in progress, that whole mentality?
Well, I think we're always focused on the fundamentals and trying to do the little things right. Our message to our team all the time is little things lead to the big things. And that's one of the things I talked to Taj about. Is sometimes I think Taj is just he's too smart. He knows a lot of football. I mean, a lot of football. And I was telling somebody last night, I think on the radio show, I used the analogy with him of our pilots. Every time I get in that plane with our 2 pilots, they go through the same procedure. It doesn't matter if we've flown 10 times that day. Same procedure. They've got their little deal, and they're consistent with that. And I think sometimes Taj, he's got a little procedure that he needs to, kind of a checklist of 1 through 7 things that he needs to do, and sometimes he just skips to step 4, because he just might take a few things for granted. And so, just kind of getting him to really focus on that. And it's not just him, that's just the analogy I use for every position, is everybody being so focused on, their pre-snap routine, et cetera, that we have the attention to details that we need. Because we've just, and that was the big deal last week, just, all right, let's cut out some of the smoke and mirrors here, and let's just peel the onion back, and let's do what we do. We're doing the same thing, but we just cut out a few of the level 104 things. Kind of went back to 101 on some of the stuff. And, like I said, with 550 yards, scored 40 points. It's the most we scored in the last couple of weeks. I would say that we got back on track offensively. We had some stall outs in the red zone. Know exactly what happened, things that we can fix and control. But really glad we got a good kicker that went in and hit those points for us.
Anything else? Okay.
All right, thanks, guys.